Surprise warnings are hitting the news more frequently. Things can't get much worse from here, or can they? Pandemic supply chain issues resulted in factories shutting down. These shutdowns led to shortages across all supermarkets and other stores. Many retailers saw very low supply and tried to make do the best they could, while others doubled down their bets and ordered more, way more. This is turning out to be very bad news for some and great news for others. Now, Target is cutting inventory by offering huge discounts to shoppers, canceling restocking orders, and taking a harder look at the company's overhead and overall expenses. Stimulus money pumped into the economy and supply chain bottlenecks poised retailers to increase orders and try to snatch up all they could from consumers looking to spend their free government money stimulus checks. The plan backfired for Target, as well as several other retailers, as their orders remained unfulfilled and shipping containers held up at ports waiting to be processed, unloaded, and transported to distribution centers and stores. Many CPI reports show a continuous rise in inflation. The Fed is raising interest rates and by much larger amounts to help slow inflation and avoid a total economy crash. While the higher prices on the shelves and at the registers and gas pumps slows sales to record lows, meanwhile massive amounts of inventory back orders are flowing in and the retailers don't have anywhere to put them, and even worse, no one to buy them. Higher costs for these consumer goods have increased and thus reduced operating margins to almost net zero, which means companies like Target would carry risk in operating overhead expense and make zero profit for doing so just to stay in business, perhaps even dipping into the red and seeing net losses on their profit and loss statements, things that shareholders and investors will not be happy to see. Are Target and other large corporate retailers protected by the government's good graces and considered too big to fail? Could we see Target and other retailers receiving bailouts to keep them afloat? Basically a form of government socialism. While other small companies who aren't in the club fall by the wayside and we see more mom and pop businesses tank and go under. Walmart has been faced with a similar overabundance of merch too. All the delayed shipments and inventory recently rolling in has the corporate giant's head spinning. And much like Target, Walmart wants to focus on the essential categories that customers are shopping for right now: groceries, beauty, household, and back to school clothing, technology, and other supplies. Remember what I told you in my last video about advertisers and their reevaluation of ad spend? This is a direct correlation and the beginning of the shift our economy is making as consumers are buying less of what they want and more of what they need. These mega retail giants are doing all they can to survive by cutting costs and getting very innovative in the process. Rising gas and diesel prices, labor shortages, factory slowdowns, and changing consumer demand pushed the price of getting items delivered higher than ever before. Bulk buying membership warehouse clubs like Costco and Sam's Club have long focused on delivering the best possible value for their members. This includes finding ways to cut costs and do things more efficiently. The two companies also look regularly at how they can remove costs from their operation. Costco and Sam's Club can't control increased costs at the manufacturing level, but they can continually revise their logistics to take costs out of the equation. Now, what I'm about to tell you is very important, so listen closely. Sam's Club has found a solution to one of the biggest problems facing retailers right now: a lack of truck drivers. Record high diesel price spikes as a result of poor government policy, a reduction in refineries, and the Russia-Ukraine war, coupled with brokers monopolizing logistics and stripping profitability from owner-operator truck drivers, has made the trucking industry a very difficult and costly step in the supply chain. Either some companies and drivers are charging more, and rightfully so, or drivers are parking their rigs for the time being and waiting to see if diesel prices will come back down. The average truck driver is seeing a 100% increase in their fuel expense as a result of diesel prices hitting $6 or more per gallon in some states and major cities. But Sam's Club has a solution to this major problem. 34 Sam's Club locations in the Dallas-Fort Worth area will receive shipments of Northern toilet paper and Dixie products from autonomous 26-foot box trucks. These driverless trucks, provided by Gatetic, will automate part of the on-road transportation network, delivering goods round the clock, 7 days a week, to 34 different Sam's Club locations. This is a major step in cutting costs and improving efficiency in the last mile and mid-range delivery markets. People are going to be out of more jobs, and for good. This is only the beginning of the machines taking over, ultimately eliminating the human component in the workforce and being replaced by technology, automation, and robots, which I have pointed out in several of my previous videos. Go check them out. I even went to a restaurant where I was served food by a robot. Crazy. Quick question for you guys. Are you freaking out? Because I know I am.